Welcome to Empire Total War United Provinces Grand Campaign, played on hard, both battle and campaign. This is a special request edition. It's going to be video 146. I've had a request to go through some of the screens so that people can see exactly where I'm up to on the campaign so far. So I'm going to go through the trade screens, and I'm going to go through the victory conditions as well, and also at some point show the diplomacy screens. Okay, first of all, to show the trade screen, I go down here, I go to the government screen, and that gives me the possible tabs that I've got at the top here. It tells me that my overall income next turn is estimated to be 5,592, is it there? Anyway, go to trade, and I can see there on the trade screen that I'm trading with all these nations down here. See all those nations? You can always slow this down or look at it yourself later on, but I'm hoping you notice there that I'm getting nothing at all from Russia. Well, I thought I'd demonstrate something to you so that you can roughly work out how trade works for those people that haven't had the time to analyse it. You'll notice that the trade at the moment is 13,644. Let's call it 136, the first three numbers to make it simple, 136. So, anyway, if I go to the diplomacy screen, which is this one down here, I'll come back to this, by the way, so you don't have to worry about looking at this now, but we will go through this. If we go on here, and then we open negotiations with Russia, and we cancel our trade agreement. Okay, thank you very much. They're very sorry about that, but anyway, here we go. So we cancel the trade agreement, close that one down, go back to our trade screen, look up here on our trade, yeah, and we could see now that our trade has actually gone up. Because we've cancelled a trade agreement that wasn't working, we've actually increased. It was 136, remember. It's now 142, which means we've increased by around about 600, doesn't it? You know, because it was the 2 and the 6 was in the hundreds column there. So we've actually increased our trade by getting rid of the trade with the Russians. In other words, goods are sent to a place whether they arrive there or not. They're not automatically disseminated around other places. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how the trade works in terms of how we separate things out. Yeah. Now, if we just take you over to Mysore a minute, we go down to the bottom here. You see the overall map on the bottom left that I'm looking at here. If I scroll through to the next theatre, which is India, this is the one that we're focusing most on at the moment, and I'll look at Mysore. Mysore's this one over here, and I double click on Mysore. I can look into here, and I can see that Mysore has a great big negative on here. Can you see how its growth is minus 134? Well, this is pretty bad news because it means that that we're not going to be able to build any new villages in this area. And it's really, I don't know if you can see that if I hover over there, but that says devastation by armies. 0.45, that's contributing to the minus factor. Now we're on 0.34 there at the moment, or is it 0.54? Anyway, the point is that we've got quite a big negative there at the moment in terms of growth, so we're not going to be able to develop our economy in that area because we're not going to be able to grow any new towns or villages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exempt this from the overall taxation. You notice the income is 511 from there. I've already gained by swapping Russia, or not swapping Russia, by getting rid of Russia as a trading agent, around about 600 anyway, so that makes up the difference. So I'm going to exempt this now from tax completely. Do you see how that's thrown this now into a positive? So we're now going to have positive growth. We're still not having villages growing yet, but that will come in time. So it's improved our situation over there incredibly. There's another thing I'd like to demonstrate over here as well. Now, if I'm teaching Grandma to suck eggs, I do apologise, but if I double click on the Weaver's Cottage, can you see it gives me pluses, which is very nice, and you can see over here that this gives me pluses as well, and over here I get 15, I get T from there as well, right? Okay, click on here. Can you see how it gives me a -1 unhappiness from there? Now at the moment I'm gaining nothing from that area at all because, well, nothing from any of these because they're damaged. So if I just click on here now, you'll see a minus. You see in the column here, the minus column, you see a minus for industrialisation amongst the lower classes. Yeah. So I'm still getting the minus on there, even though I'm not earning anything from that particular place. So I just thought I'd demonstrate that because it's something that puzzles people sometimes. I think, well, if I'm not getting anything from it, then it can't be costing me anything. And sometimes if buildings are damaged, you might as well just get rid of them and put something else in there like peace gardens or whatever, but I'm hoping to do something different. But anyway, that's a different thing. So I wanted to demonstrate devastation by armies and a negative growth in your economy as well. If you can have a negative growth, I'm beginning to sound like an economist, aren't I? Okay, so that's accepted from tax, and exempted rather. Now then, there was something else that I wanted to show you. Oh yes, that's right. We'll go over to Karnataka here, over on the east side of India. Yeah. What you can see in here is the overall income. You can see here that there's a spice export of 365 gold. That is, everything tends to be valued in gold. That's for £31. So for £31 of spice, I should get 365 in gold. I'm not getting it because it's greyed out. And if you look down here, you'll see that that here's the spice place, £37 of spices, and I'm not getting that. There's no trade going along the roads. You can see that. I'm getting nothing at all coming from that. If I move over here, you'll see that I am, though, getting the tea, 37 chests of tea. It's not producing all of them, of course. It's producing less of them. Back to here, and you can see that, yes, I'm getting the tea. I'm actually getting 31 chests. If I go to the port here, which is the one in this area, the other one in this area, you'll see that I'm gaining 450, trading, exporting if you like, from that area. Double click back in here, and what you can see is from there I'm should be getting 474. I'm exporting less, slightly less than I should be. If you hover over this one, what it'll do is it tell you that you need to upgrade your ports, in order to get more out of them. So in other words, the ports that I've got at the moment are inadequate, and this one of course is just a shipyard. But notice this little port over here. Now that is Madras. Click on here, and you can see when we look on the town that the villages are not growing. But if I were to change the tax policy on there, and I were to go back here like this, can you see now where the villages are growing? You can see right down on the bottom left, just above that oval that I pointed out to you before, you see Madras 41. That means it takes 41 turns for Madras to appear. At the moment, currently, unfortunately, I can't do anything about that, so it's nothing. If I've got it at moderately low tax, I've got Madras on 61. Can't do anything about that. But I just thought I'd show you so that you're aware how that it works in terms of switching the taxation around so that you can make more money. Okay, quick jump over to the Americas before I show you the victory conditions, which has been a special request. I'm going to look over here. We're in Mexico at the moment. I'll whiz through this. Is that the one I want? No, that's not the one I want. You can tell I've rehearsed this a bit, can't you? Because it's a tricky thing to remember. Look at here, 15 sacks of coffee. Yeah, and you look over here, and you can see that I'm making money for 15 sacks of coffee. There it is, the export for Guatemala, right? But you look down any of these trade routes here, and I tell you, I won't have time to show you them all, but I would say to you that none of these produce coffee whatsoever. And if you look at the overall value in terms of trade, you'll see that no coffee is being supplied from anywhere in the Americas. So a bit of an anomaly there. Don't quite know what that is. Maybe you sell small residual amounts locally instead of exporting it nationally. I really don't know. But anyway, here we go. Let's have a look on the victory conditions. You can see that I'm running out of time. You've got Bijapur, you've got Hindustan, and you've got New York and Goa. Basically, they're the places that I need to take still. You can freeze frame that one. Just so you can have a look at it. On the diplomacy chart, you can see the bright reds, they're the ones who hate me the most. The very bright greens are the ones who love me the most. And I'll just have a quick flick through all the other places so you can freeze frame each of those so you know where we are in the game with each of those different nations so you can keep up. Also, you've got the sub areas here as well that you can check. I'm leaving you with a still of the situation for the United Provinces. You've had a flick through all of the others as well. Just have a look around. You can see the white ones are mine, of course. I don't think I mentioned that when I said that the sort of varied degrees of bright green or bright reds. So I hope it gives you some idea of where we're at roughly in the game. And by all means look back at the diplomacy screens as well, and if it doesn't familiarise yourself completely, then just put another comment on, and I'm quite happy to put another video on that might do that. Anyway, I hope this hasn't been too boring for those that aren't interested in this, and thanks for listening.